Hi, I'm Nikki, the Obsessive Bookseller. Welcome to my channel. And welcome to the second edition of my library TBR project. It has only been about a month since I finished up the last one, and I discovered that I enjoyed it so much that I want to do it again. This all started because I'm notorious for putting books on hold at the library and then never checking them out, just hitting, oh nope, deliver later. Let someone else have it for now, I'm not ready yet. And I will do that for months and months at a time. And finally I'd had enough. I was sick of not being able to put anything new on hold, and I either needed to read or delete those books. So I assigned myself a project where I wasn't allowed to decline any of the books that came available to check out. It didn't quite go according to plan, but it was still a lot of fun. And I ended up working my way through all but 2 of the books on my lineup. What that did for me was free up a bunch of holds. So I found myself suddenly able to go shopping for new titles. And I looked at my wish list and went through and picked out all of the books that were ones that I really wanted to read and were super high priority, and just kept adding them to the holds list until I had a full set again. So today I'm presenting all the books on that list, and in a couple of weeks you'll get my vlog detailing how my experience went with all of them. Now, what I love about this is that it's a little bit different from everything else I do on the channel because I am primarily a science fiction fantasy reader and reviewer, but my library holds, I get a little more like eclectic with the things that I pick to read. And I think this time I've got a pretty decent variety. Okay, here goes. First up, I did not get to this one last time, Lost Metal by Brandon Sanderson, and I am determined that at some point during this project I am going to read that one. I know I'm going to enjoy it. It's a Sanderson. I really like the series. I'm one of the people who really enjoyed the second era of Mistborn. It just took too long to come out, and I'm afraid I won't like it as much because I don't remember really a lot about what happened. I read the books as they were being published, so it's just been a long time since I've picked them up, and I don't have time to reread. But I'm just gonna dive in. I read the first 10 chapters when they were available as an excerpt back in like August, and I enjoyed them. It was kind of like an insight, kind of a flashback, backstory to one of the characters. And I liked it. I liked what I read. So I just need to bite the bullet, check it out, read it. Hopefully Sanderson can draw me back in, and I really like the way he ends things. So yeah, hopefully I'll like that one. Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I only read about 1 romance a year, and I figure one that's gotten a lot of good hype on YouTube would be a really good place to start, and it's about books. Because my experience with A Walk in the Woods during the last vlog was so absolutely delightful, I decided to add Desert Solitaire by Edward Abbey. This is a book I've had for a really long time, and I actually started it ages ago and read the first chapter. Really enjoyed it. So I'm hoping to get kind of more inspiration. This one feels like even more of a tale of being connected to nature and slow living, that kind of thing. And I'm finding all of that really inspiring these days. So I'm looking forward to that one. Dead Man's Hand by James Butcher. I'm a longtime urban fantasy lover, and I do love the Dresden Files. I'm a little hesitant to pick this one up. I guess you could say that his son does have a pretty good guide. Someone looking over his shoulder, helping him make it a really good story. But at the same time, he could have just written anything and gotten published, just, you know, nepotism. Whatever, I would like to give this one a try. Because I'm always listening to some sort of productivity book, I decided to choose The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. I've been selling this book for years. It's one of the best-selling business books out there. And yes, they do put it in business rather than in self-help, but I think it could go in either place. Now, the reason I'm suddenly interested in reading it, I follow a productivity guru named Ali Abdaal, and he recently read it, and he was kind of like me, overlooked it because it's like, how good can it be? I mean, it's been around forever, but yeah, it's actually worth reading is what he says. And incidentally, the only reason I know about him is Daniel Green mentioned him as his own personal productivity guru and endorsed his channel. Not that it needed it. So yeah, there is a book connection here to how I got to that one. In any case, it's like the OG of productivity books, and as that's the main thing that I'm consuming in my nonfiction reading, I figured I'd better give it a go. I have seen a bunch of YouTube summaries of it, so I already know what all the points are, but maybe immersing in it will help make them stick. Ender's Shadow by Orson Scott Card. For Project Sci-Fi, I just finished Ender's Game, and am finally going to continue. That was my 3rd read-through of that book, and I have never read anything beyond that, and I would at least like to read the companion novel, if nothing else. Because I hear from a lot of people that it's just as good. If I like one, I will like the other, and I really enjoyed my time with Ender's Game this time around. So that one's on the list. Work Clean by Dan Charnas. This one has been on hold since I first saw it like months ago, but my library only has one copy and I was like 8th in line. And I have to say, so the premise here is mise en place, which is a cooking term meaning everything in its place. And I love cooking competitions, and I've been talking about mise en place to anybody who will listen for years. Like, you know, when you watch cooking channels, how they have like all of the things pre-diced and in their own little bowls, so when they start to cook, they can just throw everything in. This is talking about taking that concept and applying it to every aspect of your life. And like, I haven't even read the book yet, but just based on what I think the book might be about, I've already been doing all of the things that I can think of that would be like working clean. For example, instead of taking the garbage and hanging it on the door, I am just walking it all the way out to the garbage can so that I don't have to do anything in the future. One and done. Anyway, I'm very excited about that one, and I think I'm 2nd in line finally after months and months of waiting, and I hope it's as good as I think it'll be. Animorphs number 9, The Secret. When I was a kid, I read the first 25 books in this series dozens and dozens and dozens of times. So many times during a summer day, I would just pick up 3 of them at random and read all 3 of them in one day. I love this series. It's the one that really got me into reading when I was a kid. Now, because I have only read the first 25 or so that many times, I kind of want to experience the series one more time and read beyond that and read for a second time a lot of the books at the back half of the series. Now, after about book 23 or 24 is when K.A. Applegate started getting ghostwriters. And so you do get wildly different stories. And when I was a kid, I didn't like the tone. I was so familiar with her writing style that I didn't like the unfamiliarity. I didn't like the extra creativity and the splash of life that added to the series. I just wanted K.A. Applegate's take on things. But that's okay. I'm an adult now. I've read a ton of things, and I find myself really curious to see what the other authors have to offer. But because I have read the series so many times, especially the first like 6 or 7 books, I decided to start at book 8, which is what I'm currently reading, and I will pick up book 9 for this project to continue that out. It's just really fun. And yes, I do have them physically, but my library has recently been acquiring the audiobooks, and so I'm going to try doing audiobooks. Middle grade and audiobooks sounds like frustratingly slow and pulling teeth, considering I can read one of these books in an hour, and it takes about 3 hours to listen to them on audio. I may speed things up. But anyway, that's part of the project. I just kind of wanted to break things up a bit with something short and fun, and something I've read before. The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. I may actually nominate this one for book club and kill 2 birds with 1 stone, but my patron Sonia really loved this book, and I've seen a lot of positive reviews for it. And that cover kills me. It is so beautiful. I brought home a copy, and even if I don't like the book, I may keep the copy because I think it's gorgeous. I hear it's a standalone. I don't know anything about it. I really don't want to know anything about it. I just know it's fantasy, and it's beautiful. A carryover from last project, Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This one actually got checked out at the very last minute of that project, and I didn't have a chance to get to it, and it expired. And now there are like 700 people waiting for this book. What the heck? Like, I don't request a lot of YA books at my library, but I'm assuming it's really popular because it's YA, not necessarily because people love the author as much as I do. Her Natural series is one of my all-time favorites. Absolutely love that one. It's like murder mysteries, but with teens with like heightened abilities, like being able to tell when people are lying, but not in a magical sense, but just in a like, that's how they had to adapt to survive as kids in really harsh situations. Anyway, love that one. This one has a lot of intrigue, and I'm really excited to dive into it. However, I'm so far back in the line now that I don't think it's going to become available for the project, but I'm mentioning it in case a miracle happens and I do get it, because if I get it, I better dang well read it, or else I'm gonna have to wait another 6 months. And that's the lineup. I've got such a great variety here. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun this time around. I don't have any of them on there that I'm dreading reading. Well, maybe Lost Metal, but not because of the content, but just because I'm afraid I'm not going to like it. Very different from last time with First Binding. I'm giving myself about 3 weeks for this project to see how many books that I can get through. And I think I may allow only 2 at a time. but I'll know more about what my rhythm will be once I start getting into it, so you'll find out more in the vlog. For all I know, I'll accept all 7 at once and just rotate through that. The idea is to read through as many as I can in that time frame and to not decline any of the books as they come in. We'll see what happens. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and I hope to catch you next time.